Hey there, welcome to our event. This is Microsoft Stream Days, day number 2, and I'm your host, Michael Giannotti. We're coming to you live today here in the Microsoft Technology Center in sunny Malvern, PA. It's sunny today. For those of you who live here, we know last night it was not so sunny. We had a lot of rain, but we've got a great show lined up for you. So Dave, if you could you go ahead and, actually I'm sending it live and you're going to be advancing slides as I talk. So here we go. So this is, like I said, Stream Days, day number 2. Today's topic is going to be reaching large audiences with immersive video and interactive discussions using Microsoft 365 live events, kind of like what we're doing right now, right here. So we want to welcome everybody. I'm your host, Michael Giannotti. Today we're going to be joined by our presenter, Christina Torok, in just a little bit. Today's event is being produced on the back end by Dapper Dave Upton. I couldn't resist saying that again, Dave, I'm sorry. There we go. So go ahead and let's advance the slides. We've got a couple of housekeeping items we need to run through real quickly. First of all, this event is brought to you by the Microsoft Healthcare and Life Sciences Group, and you can visit us at any time at aka.ms/HLS blog. That's aka.ms/HLS blog. Be sure to check out all the goodies we got there. And today's video that you're seeing right now, it's being brought to you by the Logitech Meetup camera. I got one right there, front and center, bringing us live to you. It's 4K camera, Zoom. It's an all-in-one huddle room solution for, and it's Microsoft Teams certified, so it will enable your meetings, your live broadcasts like this. Go ahead to the next slide. And it's one of the whole family of solutions that Logitech has for us. And we're very happy here at the MTC with the Health and Life Sciences Group to be using the Meetup, so we thank the Logitech folks. With that, let's go ahead. Before we start, we got a couple of housekeeping items. First of all, and if it looks like I'm looking off, I'm looking at a screen up there. We encourage all of our attendees, ask questions. Ask. We love to hear from you. Not only do we love to hear your questions, but also give us a shout out. We want to know, where are you from? You know, which country are you from? What state? What city? Let us know. We'd love to give a little shout out back. So please feel free to do so. We'll be monitoring that, both myself and Dave, during the presentations, and we will be queuing up your questions as you send them for Christina, and she's going to be pausing throughout her presentation to take live Q&A throughout, so fire away, right? Finally, at the conclusion of this webcast, Dave, you advanced. He's laughing there. I can see his video. So before, at the conclusion, a lot of people ask, do we record this? Yes, it's being recorded. And again, go to, I sound like a broken record, aka.ms/HLS blog. That's, I repeat it twice, aka.ms/HLS blog. We will have a post this afternoon, just within an hour or two of the conclusion of this presentation. It will be live. It will have the recording, any resources, slides that we're sharing, all that. Now, finally, on to how to engage the Q&A panel. So just in case you closed it, it should be open by default. You'll see up in your upper right-hand corner, there's a little dialog box with a question mark. You can click that at any time to open if it's closed. And that will show you this, the Q&A panel. Feel free to post your questions. You can add your name. We'll recognize you, or you can post them anonymous. We'll take them either way. All questions are moderated, so we'll see them. You may get a direct response, a quick one from us just saying, great question. We'll queue up for the presenter, and then we'll publish those live. And then once they're out there, everybody can see them. And you can feel free to respond to each other's questions. We love that. It's great to see the interactions that take place. But again, you can post those live here. Also, that's where you post your shout outs, who you are and where you're from, so we can recognize you. Next. And with that, that's housekeeping. So without further ado, we have a phenomenal speaker, and she is going to be presenting to you. So with that, Christina, would you like to share your desktop?
I would.
Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, you guys should be seeing me now. Thanks so much for having me. Mike, how is my volume coming through loud and clear?
It sounds great. It looks great on screen, and we are a go.
Great, great. Well, yeah, thanks for having me today. I really appreciate it. And to everybody listening, my name is Christina. I'm on the Microsoft 365 product marketing team, and I spend my time working on video solutions pretty much across Microsoft Stream, Yammer, and Teams. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about live and on-demand events. And let me go ahead and try and forward my slide here. So live and on-demand events are a way to reach large audiences, thousands of people if necessary, with immersive video and discussion. And so most often we find our customers use this for a few really key scenarios. One is to create more effective communications. And this can be anything from new employees join the company, and so you want to deliver an impactful onboarding message and have it be a little bit more authentic than an email, perhaps. And then some other scenarios are things more like training. And in healthcare, obviously, we know outside of just onboarding, ongoing training is really important for everyone from your administration to your nurses to all of the staff working in the lab. So this is just a way to deliver training that is more impactful than just perhaps a click-through or something like that. And then lastly, connecting leadership or people in the corporate office with people that are on the ground in the field. And so a lot of times, perhaps even in healthcare, where you have people that do a lot of home visits and may not spend a lot of time inside the hospital or inside the clinic, video is a great way, and live events are a great way to really keep them connected and make them feel like they're still a part of something that's bigger than them. As I mentioned, live and on-demand events are a way to broadcast to thousands, up to 10,000 in fact today. And with these broadcasts, you're able to deliver a kind of just a spectrum of webcasts. So today, like you're experiencing, we are using the live events capabilities in Team. And this is what we would maybe call a traditional or a more informal webcast where I'm sharing my screen. Mike and I are toggling back and forth between who's presenting. There's moderated Q&A. And we can scale this, in fact, all the way up to things like what we do at Microsoft, our CEO town hall, where every month Satya addresses the entire organization, and he's using some high-tech cameras. He has multiple audio feeds, video feeds, and we're plugging all that in and broadcasting it out. And after the event, we see probably, I would say it's a healthy 30-70 split between when we see people watching the event live the day of when it's happening, and then when we see people watch the day after and the day after that. And so the majority of views are actually going to come after the event, which is why the recording becomes so important. And so this idea of on-demand events so people can catch up is really critical. And I'll kind of show you guys through some demos what all of this looks like. And then this is just a quick overview of some of the capabilities available. As I mentioned, you can span anywhere from just sharing your webcam to connecting to really high-end cameras and things like that. And with the high-end cameras, you can layer content, graphics, things over the video. And of course, in all of these solutions, we've really focused on the mobile experience. So we know a lot of people aren't going to be sitting in front of a computer watching these, and so the mobile experience for all of these is very seamless. You can still interact just like you're watching on your desktop. You can even, after the fact, download and watch offline if you can't be connected. And we also have other features for accessibility. Closed captioning, transcript, which is searchable, and we'll look at those too in a little bit. So as I mentioned, these capabilities go across 3 applications: Teams, Yammer, and Stream. And each one offers a slightly different flavor depending on what your needs are in your organization, what your adoption path is with these different apps, and also the scenario you're looking at. So today we're in Teams, and we are broadcasting outside of Microsoft. So Teams is really a great way to reach people outside of your company. They may not have credentials to your office tenant. It's also really easy to set up, and I'll take you through that. So after this, you guys can go back, play around, test it out, and get some hand testing done. There's also the moderated Q&A. And so as you can see today, we're using the moderated Q&A for all of the questions you might have here. And then going on, Yammer is a great way for organizations to also use live event capabilities. And this is more about, for those of you familiar with Yammer, you probably know this is a great way to reach across your entire organization. So like I said, this is actually, so Satya does his monthly all hands, and this is actually the technology that Satya uses for his all hands, because Yammer is the way that he connects with everyone across the organization. It's kind of how he keeps a pulse on everyone. And people also know that they can go to his Yammer group and they can talk to him there. So hosting these webcasts there for him make a lot of sense. And then lastly, in Microsoft Stream, let me see if I can, there you go. In Microsoft Stream doesn't have any natural associated conversation or Q&A with it. So there's really two kind of flavors where we see customers using Stream. Stream live events can be embedded in SharePoint sites, which is great if you use SharePoint as your company intranet, or you have it for onboarding new employees and you want to broadcast messages where your employees are used to going. So if they're used to going to SharePoint, you can embed that there. Other customers use Stream because it pains me to say this, it's the quote unquote corporate YouTube. So a lot of customers, employees and staff are used to going there to watch training, messages from other leadership, so it makes sense to go there. And then lastly, Stream underpins this technology in all of the apps. And the goodness that's associated with that is the closed captioning that you get with these recorded videos, the searchable transcript, and it provides ways for employees to not just watch this after it's happened, but also use this AI technology for all of the transcript goodness to be able to navigate the video like they would a document. So it saves time, keeps them productive. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and just jump into some demos. But here's actually a great link if you guys want more information on how to get started with live events. Our tech community resource page is excellent, and we can share this afterwards, Mike, as well. But there's a lot of get started guides. There's case studies, examples of how other customers are using this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump into my demos. All right, so you should be seeing Microsoft Stream right now. So I want to take a few minutes to talk you through 2 different views. So one is the producer, one's the producer view. So Mike today is kind of helping to manage the production of this event, for example. I'm one of his presenters, but then we also want to spend a little time talking about the attendee view. So what's the attendee experience like when they join one of these events? And as many of you saw firsthand today, you experience the attendee experience in Teams right now. So within Microsoft Stream, as I mentioned, people can come here to watch the live events. And here in the top nav, you can see if you've ever used Stream before, it's pretty straightforward. Upload a video. You can also create a live event here. And I won't go through the entire flow, but it's very straightforward. You enter your event details, you set your permissions, date, time, and things like that. And in Stream, this is where we actually, you'll see here there's a little icon for encoder setup. This is where we connect to what we would call an encoder, which is just a third-party software. And this is for use with high-end cameras, the kind of CEO level event where you're going to do more than just share your screen. You have customizations. You might want to play videos during your event. So this is an excellent use case for Microsoft Stream, and I won't go through the entire setup, but you will see something very similar to it when I show you the production end behind the Teams event you're experiencing today. So, and as I did mention, let me see if I have a site here. So maybe it's this one. Let's give this one a try. So it's really easy to embed these events directly in your SharePoint sites. So for Stream here, this is our Executive Corner site, so where everyone comes to connect with the leadership team. And here you can see we actually list upcoming events, upcoming monthly Q&As, and you can embed them right here. And then below, we even have a Stream tab added here, so all of the past events can be viewed as well. So one simple way to, if you're SharePoint users, to add a lot of interactivity and more immersion with video into the way that you're engaging with everyone. So let's hop over here to Yammer, because I want to show you what the experience is like in Yammer as an attendee. Let me find a good example here to share with you guys. And as I mentioned, this is really the way that our CEO Satya engages with all of the employees in the company, because he has a whole CEO connection group where people go to have conversations with him. So let's see if one of these. I'm just trying to find a group with a past event, because I, like I said, want to show you guys what the employee, here we go. Okay. So in this Executive Corner group, people are used to coming here, having conversations, discussions all the time. And so it makes sense to host the event here. And here in this event, this is actually a recording of an event we did a while ago, but you can see when you come here, this is the same experience as if it was live. And I'm gonna try and mute this so I don't blow you guys away with this volume. But when you're here watching the live event, people can come to this area before the event, during the event, after the event, and they're able to ask questions, talk to their colleagues, get responses from the presenters. And the nice thing about this is, even if you've missed the event, remember I mentioned about only maybe 30% of the people that will ever watch the event watch it live. So if you've missed the event and you're coming back to watch, you don't actually miss out on any of the conversation. People are still talking. You can read the entire thread. You can watch the video while you're participating in the conversation yourself. And so a great way to reach large audiences across the organization, or perhaps audiences that are rallying around a specific topic, something like that. So I'm going to pause there before I go into the team scenario and talk to you a little bit about the attendee and production experience in Teams. Are there any questions off the bat that I can take, Mike?
Yes, there are.
Okay, good.
So,
great.
Real quickly, we have a few questions that have been coming in, and let's see. We also had some shout outs, by the way. We have people from Charlotte, from London, from Vienna. We got people from all over coming in. But a couple of the questions that we have, one of them is this. So the first one, and it actually comes from Vienna, Austria. It says, in this case, one of our sub-organizations will never migrate to cloud services, so they don't have licenses for Stream. How can we share the recordings of our team events and meetings with them?
Yes, that's a good one. So today Stream does not have guest user access, which essentially means that there's no way to share it outside your organization. Well, people can authenticate, but just with a Gmail or whatever other authentication you choose. We are building that into the application this calendar year. And so, unfortunately, today it's, you manually will have to download any of the recordings and then share it outside your organization like that. But by the end of this year, you'll be able to have permissions for people outside of your tenants to be able to access meeting recordings, events, and anything associated with Stream on the back end.
Great. So that was one. Oh, here we go. So this is Cheers from sunny Mexico. Can you present live quiz or polls, and I know the answer to this, during the live webcast, please? Thanks a lot.
You can't today. You cannot today. Yes, but you can't today, but you are able to do it in the recording. We have an integration with Microsoft Forms. And so you literally copy and paste a URL, and you can put it in the recording as soon as you stop the event. And so anybody those 70% that watch it afterwards can participate in the polls and the surveys. We are working on an integration similar to what we have with Microsoft Skype broadcast solution today. There's an integration with a product called Pulse. And so we're working on features around with a similar kind of concept where people can vote and poll and like things during the event, but I don't have timing on that today.
All right, and the last question I have.
I want to get one more on that same topic. Will that work on a mobile device as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So we are, with live events and video in general, we're really trying to take a mobile first approach, because we have so many people in the workforce that are they're everywhere. They're not, sitting in front of a computer all day long. So yeah, a good way to think about that is whatever we are doing in the app, we are thinking about doing it in mobile as well.
Great. And the last question I actually answered, but I'll toss it up anyways. They asked, will MS Encoder still work with Stream?
Will MS Encoder still work with Stream? I'm not sure what the MS Encoder.
I know it's been a long time since I've seen. So what I answered was this. I just said Stream works with any industry standard external encoder like OBS, TriCaster, etc. that can output RTMP, which is the industry standard, and you can hook that up. I said, or you can use Teams like we're using today.
Mike, are you trying to put me out of a job? Yeah, that's exactly right, though. Yeah. And if you go to the docs.microsoft.com and you look up Microsoft Stream, there is a laundry list of compatible encoders there as well that you can find in the live event section.
Yep. Awesome. And that's it for right now.
Okay, cool. Well, let's jump into the Teams experience here. And I'm going to be using some click-through slides for this. With Yammer and Stream, I was able to demo live, but if I try to demo Teams within Teams while we're watching in Teams, it starts to look like Inception. So I'm going to go through this click-through so nobody gets vertigo. I'm going to go ahead and start off here with what the attendee experience is like. And for many of you on the call, you probably had this exact same experience. So after you set up a live event as the owner, you get an attendee link, and you take that attendee link and you can put it in a calendar invite. You can put it wherever you want, send out that link. And so once folks have that link, just go ahead, click on it, and you are dropped into the event experience. And so here what we can see is a live event that's happening. So this may look like Inception for a lot of you people watching right now. You can see that the event's live, you're watching the content on the screen, and then you have that moderated Q&A experience as well. So let's show everybody that's watching what is actually happening on the back end. So somebody that has gone ahead and set up this event. Okay, so setting up an event in Teams is quite similar to setting up a meeting, but you just have a few more options. So you go to New Meeting, select, instead of New Meeting, make sure you select a new live event, and then you go ahead and you populate the calendar, or you populate the scheduling experience with the title, the date you want it to start. Here's also where you add any presenters. So for example, today, Mike and I are listed here where Babek is as presenters. Then you're going to have two options. The first is, who's your audience? Is it going to be some entire organization-wide event, or is it going to be just specific people and groups? Or like today, we selected public when we created this event. So you select your audience. And then after that, you select your production type. We talked about two different kinds, right? So one is the one we're experiencing today, where we're just sharing our screen and we're not connecting to anything else except, you know, inside Teams. But then what we looked at was Stream and Yammer. You can also do in Teams where you connect to an external encoder, which is that external piece of software that connects high-end cameras, video overlays, all kinds of really fancy stuff that we use for some of our executive events. So we're gonna, for the sake of this click through, we're gonna select Teams, which is what we're doing today. And you're gonna notice a feature here on a couple different options here on my screen for different features. You don't have to use the moderated Q&A if you prefer not to. This is something that you can select. You don't have to have a recording if you don't want a recording produced afterwards. Here's where we also select the attendee engagement report. Attendee engagement report is kind of a report you get at the end of the event that just says this is who attended and this is how long they watched. Also optional, because I know some of I've talked to some customers in Europe where this could be a privacy issue, so you are able to turn that off here. And then lastly, the captions. So captions today, live captions are in preview within Microsoft only. So we're kind of dog fooding our own technology to make sure that one, the accuracy is there, two, everything's working correctly. So pretty soon we will be pushing this out to our TAP customers to be able to test not just live captions, but also the live translation of them. So just a sneak peek of what's coming soon. Okay. After that, as I said, this is where you can grab your attendee link, so you send that out to everybody that you want to attend. So after you've got that set up, very straightforward and quick if you don't have me in the background talking over it. So here we're going to go ahead and pick up where we left off. I'm going to click join. We're going to go ahead and start this event right away. So as the producer setting this up, this is the experience that you will go through. We're going to join now. It's going to drop us into the experience. Now, what we're looking at here, we're looking at the queue, so where we can put our content kind of on deck to be pushed live. And then on the right hand in the yellow box is what our audience is viewing right now. So here you can also see on the back end, we're able to see that Q&A. And then there we go. We're able to see that Q&A, but in addition to the Q&A, there's also a back channel chat. So the little icon at the top that's kind of in the middle, the little purple box, where the comment from Babek is. So this is the back channel chat that today, we're using to make sure that our audio is working and answer any questions between the presenters and producers. Attendees are not able to see this chat, which is very convenient if Mike were to send me a message that says, you've muted yourself, unmute yourself. So in addition to that, if you've ever joined a Teams meeting before and shared content, there's a concept of the share tray. The share tray is something you can open up, and from there, you're going to decide either I want to share my screen, I want to share a certain document, and once you select that, you move it up to the queue. And again, the queue is kind of like what's the content that's on deck. Nobody can see that yet until you actually send it live and you start your event. And then you have that nice view of what the attendees are seeing, what's on deck. And then below where you see that red box with the content and that thing that says you, that's where all of the presenters are able to open share trays, take over, start presenting their own content. So it's very seamless. You're not passing permissions back and forth. If you're a presenter, you have the control to share your content, your voice, your camera when it's your turn. And that was all I had in that. So, so any questions, Mike, that came in around this Teams experience?
Yeah, so let's see. We had in the question, well, this was actually, I don't know if it's direct, it's not really directly related just to this, but it was focused on the live streaming itself. And the user said that what is the time delay between the live event and the audience receiving the message? They were seeing in Skype meeting broadcast that it was, anywhere from 40 to 45 seconds.
Yeah, so today I think we are at about 20 seconds or so, maybe 25 seconds.
Okay.
And we're working on that time delay. We do hear that somewhat, and for everybody else listening, that's essentially when I click, me as a producer, click Start Live Event, and then attendees are on the other end of their computer waiting for the event to start. The delay between when they see my screen after I hit start is about 20 seconds. So they have the same experience where my voice and slides are completely aligned. It's just a slight gap in when I hit start and when they can actually see.
Awesome. We have two other questions. The next one was, can members after an event start, or can you add members after an event starts, not audience, but adding administrators? So I'm assuming they mean like you start the event and then you want to add an additional presenter or producer who was not added originally. And I replied that I believe it's locked, but we would check with you.
Yeah. So once you start the event, the presenters that you already have in, you cannot pull in a new presenter. That is something we're looking at though, because you do still have the ability to, for example, share an attendee link, with other people, for example, publicly. You can share an attendee link and have people join that way. So we are thinking about how we pull in people after the fact, but that is not available today.
And the last one we had, this is actually relates to some of what we were talking about in the room, is with the subtitles. And Pierre said that I have clicked on subtitles, live translation in English is live, and this is great. He put an exclamation, so he likes it. And he said, how many languages can we select at the same time?
Great question.
And so, yeah, for the subtitles, he can only see a single. We can select, and I guess the question is, can you select, like, I know we can do 6 in the setup, but for him as a user, he can only do, you can only view 1 at a time as an end user, correct?
Yes, yeah, that's correct, Mike, that's correct.
And then for us, it's 6, I know that, and then it grays out once you select the 6.
Yeah, so the experience is as you're setting this up as a producer, you will have the ability to select up to 6 languages, and then as an attendee, what that means is the attendee would click on subtitles, and they would see those 6 languages listed, and they would only be able to select 1. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and for those of you who are watching, I encourage you play around with it, take a look, because today we are simulcasting. So we have subtitles showing up in simplified Chinese, Italian, because, well, my name's Gennady, I can't help it, French, German, and I think Portuguese.
Deutsch.
And Deutsch, well, German. Yeah. Sprechen Sie Deutsch. So there we go. And that's it for the questions for right now. Oh, wait, we got one more. It says, is it the producer who controls everything?
Yes, I guess the short answer would be yes. So the producer is the one that gets the attendee engagement reports. They are the ones that are actually setting up the event and inviting attendees. They're identifying the presenters they would like to participate in the event. But then once you actually get into the event, for example, today Mike and I are just presenters, but we still have full control to be able to share our screens, share our audio. We can see all of the Q&A on the back end. and we have the back channel chat. So once you actually get into the event, the presenters have a fair amount of control as well, but the producer is the one seeing those kind of two screens that we looked at, where they can see what's in the queue, they can see the live event and the attendees view.
And we did get one other coming in specifically also about the Teams piece, and this comes to us from James from Atlanta, Georgia. So hello, Atlanta. We didn't, first we heard. And so it says, in the Teams client, will there be a way to zoom in on the stream itself without distorting the entire app? When sharing 4K screens, etc., sometimes resolution issues can occur and presents a challenge visually on smaller screens. And he said specifically on mobile apps in Teams meeting, it allows you to pinch and zoom functionality, and he put, which is great. So I guess, is there going to be, or are they looking at a way to zoom without distorting the app?
Mm-hmm. That, as far as I know, is not on the roadmap. That does not mean that that the engineers are not thinking about it, though. I know kind of the first kind of hurdle that we got over was making sure that we had adaptive bitrate streaming and what we call, quote unquote, smart encoding. And that kind of helps, the technology identifies if you have low bandwidth, if you're on your phone, how you're watching, and adapts, and will either, knock you down to the best quality based on your bandwidth, or raise you up if your bandwidth can handle that. And so, so part of the resolution might be based on bandwidth, if it's taking you down a few notches, just to optimize and make sure you don't have a stall in playback. But the pinching, being able to zoom, today as far as I know, we don't have work planned for that, but that's excellent feedback from Atlanta, and I will share that with the team. So thank you for that.
All right, and we have some more questions coming in, but we'll hold those for the next pause, and we turn it on back to you.
Yeah, and actually, I'm done with my demos, and the only other thing I wanted to share was just some of the future-looking things we have in the roadmap that we're tracking for this year, top of next calendar year. So, folks, I can share those, and then we can take all kinds of questions as it relates to that and other things.
Awesome.
So this solution across all of these applications will be replacing Skype meeting broadcast. And so we do have customers that have asked us, well, we use Skype meeting broadcast today. When do I start transitioning? When should I start using these new capabilities? And that answer is start today. We don't have any kind of a timing where we're going to, stop service for Skype meeting broadcast or anything like that. But we have heard great feedback that this service has proven to be more reliable, more scalable, and so we are encouraging customers to start moving and using it today. So that's kind of a quick update there. And online, I believe there is some updated timing around specific things for the Skype meeting broadcast to M365 Live Events transition on the Teams doc pages. In addition to that, we're looking at building more core webinar capabilities into some of the applications. So that means things like custom registration pages. So you can have people outside your organization go register for the event, enter their information. Then they would get emails confirming their registration with the invites and things like that. So more of a traditional webinar, customizable experience for people that want that associated with it. We're also looking at, so today in the experience we're using today, you do have public anonymous, which means I send attendees a link and they join, and there's no authentication process. So what we're looking at across all of the workloads are The one public anonymous for all styles, whether I'm in Yammer, Stream, or Teams, but also guest user authentication. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, but really what that means is I can attend an event in Yammer, Stream, or Teams, and even though I'm outside of the tenant, and I don't have credentials for the organization, I'm able to self-identify and authenticate based on whatever method the person that sent me the invite determines. And so it's not just an open stream where I can't just forward the link and other people can watch. So that's something that across all of the apps and all of the options for production we are building out this year as well. Let me think what else. And that will also help with the recording as well per the question we had earlier. That's all that's top of mind for me with the roadmap, but please ask more questions, and I'm happy to fill in details.
We have a bunch.
Yay, okay.
All right.
Let me have it.
So the first one comes to us from Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City, Missouri. So hello, Missouri. My mom is actually, I have family in Missouri, in Bolivar. So at any rate, near Springfield. So from Children's Mercy Hospital, they're asking, what is the process to initiate a live event from a native Teams endpoint? And a native Teams endpoint. I think they're talking about a Teams room. Oh yeah, they said, and they said a Crest, i.e. like a Crestron Flex. So if you want, I can answer that, or you. It's either way.
Go, Mike, go.
All right. So this is the deal with an endpoint. So when we're talking about dealing with like a Teams room system, a Crestron, you can pull them in as a presenter, but they cannot initiate from there. The producer view is only available via the rich client on the PC. You're not so. For doing production, you need that. That's not, but you know, again, like I'm sitting in a room right now where to my right, there's a large Surface Hub. I can't produce in there, but I can pull that in as a presenter. It can share its screen, it can have video, but it cannot be the presenter. So from a initiation standpoint, you use a PC, like I'm using my Surface 2 laptop to produce the event in Teams. But for presenters, they certainly can be an endpoint. And then what happens is you invite as a presenter that device shows up, it shows up in the GAL, so you can invite it as a presenter. Then the person can come and click join meeting. We recently did that and demoed it with Logitech. Did that with their TAP system, where you can, again, invite that as a presenter. Somebody comes in, maybe it's an executive, and all they need to do is tap the meeting, and they're in, and it's seeing them, and then the producer on a PC who's initiated can show. But again, has to be produced on a computer, can't be done on an endpoint. There. All right, next. Will a video play audio in stream? So they're asking if they share a video, will it play the audio in stream? They said there was a restriction on Skype broadcast, regardless if it was an independent file or embedded in a PowerPoint.
Yes, I can feel that one. So yes, if you are using Stream, that means that you are using a third-party encoder, so a software where you're connecting it, and you can play a video with audio there. Where you can't play a video with audio today is, for example, in the event that we're a part of today in Teams, where it's kind of that, quick setup, just sharing my screen. Then the audio and the video won't work. But yeah, if you're using Stream or even Teams and you're connecting out to OBS or a Wirecast or some other software, it absolutely works. It works really well.
All right, so next we have up, it said we have had live meetings where mobile users go to ask questions and are unable to get back to the meeting. That's interesting. They have to drop and rejoin. Is this a known issue? And what do you recommend to resolve the issue? And I'm assuming they're in the Teams client.
Yeah. So if that's a Teams mobile app issue, I have not heard that before, but that doesn't mean that it's not a known issue. So that is at the very least something I can take back to the team. And then just to confirm, Mike, that was in the team. Did it say it is the Teams mobile app? And they were.
It says we're mobile users. So
okay.
Yeah, and if they could clarify, this is posted by Anonymous. So Anonymous, if you could let us know if this is a Teams app or if it's the web view. I'm assuming it's the mobile app because that's what by default should come up. At least in iOS it does.
Yeah. So yes, whoever posted the question, if you thank you, and we can take this back to engineering. Just two things to help troubleshoot, like Mike said. Is it web or is it mobile? And then also, is it iOS? Is it Android? That will help too. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one. Yes, I didn't. So they did come back and say it is the mobile app. And yeah, if they could come back again and let us know is that iOS or Android, that would be helpful.
Cool.
The next one is one of my favorite things to do. And so and I'm glad they asked it. They said, is it possible to arrange windows or inputs within a broadcast?
Mike, you're excited. You want to take this one?
Okay, sure. So I love this one. Hey, I ended up back in video. There I am. So the short answer is yes, you absolutely can. By using external encoders, for example, OBS is a great example. You can do multiple windows and windows just in software. My personal favorite to broadcast from is the TriCasters by NewTek. They're studio in a box, and that's actually what you'll see most of the small local TV stations. When you watch them, you think they have this elaborate setup like they used to have. They actually have a TriCaster because it handles pretty much everything. It allows multiple camera input. So here in the MTC, and most MTCs, if you have one near you, you should ask about going to see it. We have a studio here. I built it for them a couple of years ago with a TriCaster, and we had the green screen with virtual sets, window and window. You can do multiple windows. We even set up a Skype TX box so we could pull in and have call-ins to the show, right? So I could be doing a broadcast. It would bring it all into a single feed, go out. So even though there's a delay, the conversation between the person calling in and the presenter were seamless in that point, and then it's produced out and RTMP out. So yeah, you can absolutely do that. You can get crazy sophisticated depending on what you're using. We even played with the TriCaster has hollow sets. So we did one broadcast where we were in a piazza in Rome, and people were actually all in the same room with green screen in back of them and different Blackmagic cameras pointing at them. And within the TriCaster, you could toggle, and it looks like you're panning through the piazza to somebody standing next to a fountain and then somebody on a balcony, and they're all just in one room talking. So pretty cool stuff. So yeah, so the short answer and long answer is yes. So talk to your Microsoft reps, go into a local MTC and check them out.
I wish you were more excited about this.
It's hard not to be. Okay, so let's see. The next one, and this is kind of a repeat, Christina, but they're asking, do we have polling features?
Yes, I can definitely take that. So today in Skype meeting broadcast, there is the ability to do through an integration with Pulse polling during the live event. We don't have that today across our live event solution in Teams, Yammer, and Stream. It is something that we will build in. What we do have today is after the event ends and you have your recording, so immediately after it ends, you can easily add a form, a survey, a poll using an integration we do have built with Microsoft Forms. And so with that, and actually, I will send Mike a link to the blog on how to do that if you want to play around with it. But very easy and straightforward way to capture a large amount of your audience after the fact.
Awesome. Next, we had somebody asked, how many people are attending this live? That's for me to know. So it's been varying, and so it goes up and down. We do know we have places with rooms with multiple customers. I'll just say we have multiple people worldwide. There we go. We have people around the world. We also did get asked, this one we'll go back to some of the others, but we were asked, it said, Mike, please introduce your colleagues behind you. So actually, these are not my colleagues. We have customers, and I have more over here, but we have people in the room watching us present live today to see how it all works and the flow. So I'm leaving it up to them because they're, I want to respect privacy. So it's up to you.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Beck. I'm from Pfizer, and we are deploying Office 365, and Stream is a great product because of those languages, and the option for closed captioning is a big game changer for us because we are a global training team and we produce content in many, many languages, and we're very, very interested in doing more large-scale events with Microsoft Stream. Jenny?
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm also from Pfizer. Super excited to learn more about Stream. It looks like an awesome platform that you can do a lot with.
So if you're going to learn, you got to learn from the master, which is Mike. So
I don't know about that.
He was kind enough to let us come in today and watch the behind the scenes, and we look forward to using Stream globally for our 61 plants worldwide.
Yeah, it's great stuff. And normally I do these. This is the beauty of Stream. Anytime, anywhere. I normally am sitting at my home office with my mutt sitting at my feet, sometimes licking them if I'm in flip-flops. But we do these sessions, and you can do them literally from anywhere. So we had some other questions. I had, does the client run on Mac OS?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Can they produce from? So I'm not. Are they able to produce from on the client on Mac?
That's a really good question. I'll have to. So a surefire place to go to look for that is the docs.microsoft.com. Check in the Teams documentation. I am 99% sure that it's a yes, because I know that we specifically had a work stream in engineering focused on that, because we have a lot of customers that are still using, that are using Macs. But I don't have a 100% answer for that.
Okay. Good. And that's one we can post on later as well. So
okay, great.
That looks like it's it. I got accused of copying out on my answer. Yes. But at any rate, that's from Tim. So I don't have any more questions. So it looks like that's it. I do want to encourage people, if you have questions post this event, you can always, like I said, the broadcast will be up and live online in about an hour and a half, because it literally to download the MP3 and for me to post, or MP4, it wraps up and puts it all together very quickly. So please feel free. You can include questions underneath the post. I'll have a link to resources. Christina has already promised us some that she'll provide. I will also have a link to a brief survey that, if you'd be so kind, we'd love to hear from you. Oh, and we had one more question just come in from Pierre, so I want to respect that. We'll go ahead, and he asks and says, will you be able in the future to use the video camera of your smartphone as a presenter video feed?
That is a good question. That is, the answer is yes. We are currently looking at scoping work for a quote unquote go live scenario where you may just want to use your mobile phone to quickly hit a button and broadcast to folks without scheduling it ahead of time. so yes, we are working on that. I don't have a date because I feel like engineering would jump out of the woodwork and come get me, but they are scoping the work for that today.
Awesome. So that's it. We've already gotten one thanks all. Great webinar. We want to thank everybody for joining. I do have a couple of closing pieces, and then we'll say our final goodbye. So can you go to the next slide, Dave? Dave, you're an awesome producer. So next steps, calls to action. Oh, shoot, I can't barely read because my old man eyes. Well, first of all, yes, this will be posted to aka.ms/HLS blog. In case you haven't heard that for the 1000th time today, it's aka.ms/HLS blog. I'll post this up after the fact. We want to thank everybody that could attend. I do want you to know we'll be announcing in the next day or so actually it'll be next week because I'm leaving on vacation tomorrow. I'm going scuba diving in the Bahamas, and I will be 60 feet under and not available for consultation. But when I get back next week, we'll be posting out our next monthly event. What we're going to do is mix things up. We've been doing a product group each month. We're going to continue to do that, but on every other month. And then in the months in between, we're going to have a HLS or Healthcare and Life Sciences solution. So kind of a show me how, where you can tune in. And what was it again? It was Bob Ross, right?
Bob Ross.
We're gonna kind of be like Bob Ross. I don't know if we'll have the hair down from painting. I'm probably dating myself, but you can follow along, and we're gonna show you a solution like something that the first one's actually going to implement stream and live events, and I forget what they renamed it to. It was custom learning for Office. Dave, do you remember what they renamed it to?
I do not remember what the new name is.
Doesn't remember either. Yeah.
It's custom learning.
I'm just going to say I'll blame it on my old man brain. But we're going to be doing a solution that's going to show you end to end how to provision, customize, and pull all that together. But we're going to try to alternate kind of a solution that you can pilot yourselves, follow along, paint by numbers, pilot, and roll out. And then we'll have the latest and greatest from the product team, like today we had from Christina. With that, this is Mike Giannotti, and I'm pointing to you, Christina.
Christina Torok.
As well as
Dave Upton.
Dave Upton. We want to thank you all for attending today. This has been a great session. You've been a great audience. And somebody wants to know about connecting two separate, I'll address this. I'll do a separate video, Cam. So I got a last question. I'll do a separate video on it. But we want to thank you for attending. Have a great day for everybody. For me, this is the beginning of an extended weekend, so I'm just going to say have a great weekend because I'm going to take care. And as always, ciao.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.